So we've learned how to take percents of numbers by moving the decimal over and multiplying. We've learned how to set up proportions. Today we're going to be learning how to set up equations, okay? So you have to do it this way because that's the way we're learning today, is percent equation. This correlates with 3-3 in your book, but we are not doing the book problems today because I just kind of want to start with the basics because the book problems are all word problems. I attached the worksheet that goes along with these problems. If you have a printer at home, print out the worksheet and take your notes on the worksheet. If you do not have a printer at home, then you're going to have to write down notes on notebook paper. You need to write down the problem, okay? So for this one, you have to write what percent of 29 is 3. You also have to write down the work and the answer, okay? You cannot just write the work without having the problem there, because when you go to do your practice problems after this, you're going to want to kind of refer back to these problems and say, oh, this one really looks like this example, so I'm going to use this process, if that makes sense. Okay, so starting with number 1 on the worksheet, what percent of 29 is 3? Okay, so what percent? We don't know what percent it is, so we're going to call that P. Of 29. Anytime you see of, you want to think multiply, okay? Of 29. So I'm going to call this now 29p. What percent of 29? I'm multiplying these two things together. Is, when you see is, you want to think equals. Is 3, so equals 3. And that's your equation. 29p equals 3. What percent of 29, multiply them together, is 3. Now, to solve this equation, if we have 29 times p, we need to divide by 29 on both sides of the equation. That goes away, and you're just left with p equals, you can do 3 divided by 29 in your calculator, and when you do that, you're going to get 0.103. I'm rounding off, okay? Now, it asks for what percent, so we're not going to leave it like this. Remember, when we convert from decimals to percent, we want to move the decimal 2 places to the right. So, it's 10.3%. Okay, next one, number 2 on your worksheet. What percent of 33.5 is 21? This one is just like the last one. What percent? I don't know what percent, so I'm going to call it P. Of means multiply, 33.5. So you're multiplying 33.5 times P here. Is means equals 21. This says 33.5 times P, so to get rid of it, to isolate our variable, we'll divide by 33.5 on both sides of the equation. And when you put this in the calculator, and you do 21 divided by 33.5, you will get P equals 0.627. Okay, but it asks for what percent. It doesn't ask for the decimal, it asks for the percent. So we need to move the decimal 2 places to the right, 62.7%. I'd like you to round off to like the tenths or hundredths, not whole numbers. Give me tenths or hundredths. Okay, this next one, we're jumping to number 4. We're skipping number 3 because number 3 is going to end up being a problem for you to try. 41% of 78 is what? 41%, we have a percentage here. Anytime you have a percentage, convert it to a decimal. So 41%, we're going to convert that to a decimal by moving 2 places to the left. So that's 0.41 of, we need to multiply 78, so we're multiplying times 78. I'm putting it in parentheses to show that these are multiplied together. Is equals what? I don't know what, so let's call it x. Or n, or whatever you want. Now you're going to do 0.41 times 78 in your calculator, and when you do that, you're going to get x equals 31.98. And you can leave it like that. It didn't ask for a percentage, you're looking for a number here, so just leave it like that. Okay, jumping to number 5. 28% of 63 is what? This one's like the same way, okay? So 28%, convert it to a decimal, that's 0.28. Of means multiply, so times 63 is equals what? I'll call it x. Do 0.28 times 63 in your calculator, and you should get x equals 17.64. Okay, number 6. 58% of what is 63.4? 58%, we'll convert that to a decimal. That's 0.58. Of means multiply. What number? Let's call it x. So 58% of what number is equals 63.4. Now to solve, we need to divide by 0.58, divide by 0.58, and you're going to get x equals, if you put that in your calculator, 63.4 divided by 0.58, you will get 109.31, round it off. Okay, moving to number 7. 1 is what percent of 52.6? Okay, so 1 is equals what percent of 52.6? So 52.6, what percent of it? We'll call that P. What percent of 52.6? Now to get P by itself, we need to divide by 52.6, divide by 52.6. 1 divided by 52.6 is P equals 0.019, but it's asking you what percent. So since it's asking you what percent, we need to move the decimal 2 places over to convert this to a percent, and you'll get 1.9%. Okay, I'm going to flip the board. Okay, we're jumping to number 10. Number 10, what is 12% of 17.5? Okay. So what is 12%? Move the decimal over 2 places. That's 0.12 of, multiply, 17.5. So now if you put in your calculator 0.12 times 17.5, you will get 2.1. Okay, our last one we're going to do together is number 13. 112 minutes is 76% of what? 112 minutes is 76%, convert it to a decimal, 0.76 of what? We don't know what, we're going to call it x. Now to get x by itself, let's divide by 0.76 on both sides. 112 divided by 0.76, x equals 147.37. Okay, so now when you do your practice problems that I assign, refer back to these problems and see, oh, this one really looks like